Greetings everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. You know the drill. We are going to review the Adept career mechanics. If I reference mechanics you are unfamiliar with, there's a link in the description to my new player guide. Adepts are focused on buffing allies, penetrating defenses, and debuffing enemies. The characteristics and skills associated with this career are intelligence, perception, weapon skill, ballistic skill, awareness, Medicae, tech use, logic, lore Imperium, and lore Xenos. You automatically get the Keystone Ability Study Enemies, which takes a stack of clue marks equal to your intelligence bonus and randomly distributes them among enemies in a 4-square radius with a 10-cell range. The clues remain until the end of combat. If you hit an enemy that has a clue, you will deal additional damage equal to your perception bonus plus the amount of insight you have. This hit will remove 1 clue from the enemy and increase your insight count by 1 until the end of combat. If the target dies from your attack, then you'll gain a +1 bonus to insight for each clue that the enemy has. As you will see soon, this ability interacts with a lot of what the Adept is able to do, and it's fantastic when used properly. Let's dive into the Adept's unique list of abilities. Expose Weakness removes 1 stack of clue from a target and imposes a percentage penalty to dodge, parry, and armor equal to 10 plus twice your perception bonus for 1 round. Monster debuff that basically turns into a boss killer when paired with a damage specialist. You definitely want this ASAP. Precise Attack affects your next attack against a target with a clue stack. That target's cover efficiency will have a percentage penalty equal to 10 plus twice your perception bonus and your insight. If the target is affected by Exposed Weakness, then this attack will also have additional armor penetration equal to 5 plus your perception bonus. This attack will trigger clues on the target, but you will not gain any insight from the attack. This is a great option if you have an Adept that's capable of really taking advantage of it. In my opinion, Pascal, the Adept companion you receive, moves like a brick, so I find it more useful for him to focus on buffing and debuffing as opposed to directly damaging enemies. Joint Study causes all ally attacks to remove clue stacks and deal additional damage equal to your intelligence bonus. You will not gain insight from these attacks. This is a great option that makes the entire team more capable. Sniping Shot causes an Adept to gain 25% cover efficiency and a bonus of +15 to perception and ballistic skill. This bonus lasts until the Adept moves, but it doesn't stack. Obviously, this is great if you are focused on ranged combat. Intimidation causes your next non-area effect attack to inflict the intimidated status to the first hit enemy and all enemies in a 5-cell range around the target. Intimidated enemies have their damage decreased by a percentage equal to twice your perception bonus until your next turn. This effect is doubled for enemies that have less armor than 3 times your intelligence bonus. This is a nice debuff for an Adept that you consistently use to attack. Tactical Knowledge removes 1 stack of clues from each enemy in a 5-cell radius within a 10-cell range. If there's only 1 enemy, then all clues will be removed from them. All allies receive a percentage increase to armor equal to twice the amount of clues removed. If 4 or more clues are removed, then the Adept receives additional damage equal to the amount of removed clues. I prefer to use clues to buff damage for the entire party, so I skip this. Quick note before we review Adept's Talents. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate you hitting the like button. This information lets me know which videos the community is enjoying. If you want to support this kind of content, please consider becoming a member of the channel where you will get access to full playthrough episodes. Alright, let's jump into the talents list. Pattern Recognition causes every enemy with clues to inflict 1 stack of clues on 1 random enemy within 3 cells that does not have a clue at the start of their turn. Study Enemies has a 20-cell radius, making it pretty easy to get clues on all nearby enemies, so I don't really think this is worth it, but there are definitely some fights where waves of enemies will come in, and so this can be useful to get clue stacks on those enemies as well. Tide of Excellence causes the Adept to get a bonus of +1 to damage and +2% to armor penetration for every triggered clue stack until the end of combat. If your Adept is focused on damage, this is a fantastic option. Weak Body, Weak Soul causes enemies impacted by Exposed Weakness to also have their toughness and willpower decreased by 3 times your intelligence bonus for 1 round. A great debuff gets even better, and I would definitely consider picking this up. First Target is triggered when you attack an enemy with 100% wounds and causes the target to experience additional damage equal to 10 plus twice your perception bonus. Assisted Study causes every ally in the study enemy's area of effect to add additional clues into the distribution. Oftentimes, allies are nowhere near the largest group of enemies, so personally I skip this, but it's not a bad pickup. Instant Expose causes Expose Weakness to cost 0 action points. Expose Weakness is an ability I use on a regular basis, and I recommend picking this up. Comprehensive Study causes an enemy to get +2 stacks of clues if they are the only target in the study enemy's area of effect. I don't think this is worth it, and I would skip it. Inflict Despair is triggered when an enemy is hit with both a clue and Expose Weakness. That enemy loses 3 movement points and deals 20% less damage on their next turn. I think this is worth it on core or harder difficulties where it's very important to mitigate how much damage bosses are doing. For normal, I would skip it. Passive Learning causes the Adept to distribute the same amount of clues as study enemies would dish out, but only in a 10-cell radius. At the beginning of all your next turns, you'll distribute significantly less clues in a 2-cell radius. This is another talent that isn't good for Pascal because he moves so slowly, but might be good for a custom Adept that can easily get into an advantageous position. Offense Prediction causes enemies with a clue to receive a damage percentage penalty equal to 3 times your intelligence bonus. I don't focus on protecting the Adept, so I would skip this. Reactive Study causes enemies who attack to gain an additional stack of clues. Placing stacks of clues on enemies is easy. The real issue is figuring out how to best use them, so I skip this. Informed Hit causes your precise attack to be a critical hit when used on a target with an amount of clues more than or equal to 10 minus your intelligence bonus. This is very easy to trigger and should definitely be used if your Adept can consistently hit enemies. Combat Insight gives you +1 AP and allows you to ignore enemies' damage deflection if your perception is equal to or more than 10. Deflection is one of the methods enemies use to mitigate damage, so if you are focused on damage dealing, this is definitely a worthy pickup. Sharpshooter is triggered if you do not move and provides an increase to ballistic skill equal to your perception bonus and an increase in damage equal to half your intelligence bonus for every 5 cells of distance between you and your target. If your Adept is a skilled ranged combatant, this is absolutely a great pickup. Off-Beat Sight has the exact same description as study enemies, so I am not sure what it does. Ballistics Calculation causes you to do 25% more damage when attacking from a distance equal to 15 minus your perception bonus cells. Another fantastic ranged Adept option. Insightful Precision will change precise attack to add an amount of perception equal to the number of clues you would remove divided by 3. If you use that attack regularly, then obviously this is something to consider. Take Maximum on Spot causes Sniping Spot to provide a percentage bonus to armor equal to 5 plus your perception bonus. This is activated against enemies who are at least 7 cells away. I prefer to use cover and positioning to protect my ranged combatants as opposed to beefing up their armor, but this might work for you. Improved Tactics changes tactical knowledge to require 3 clues instead of 4, and your damage is increased by your intelligence bonus, which should be sky high. This definitely makes the ability more attractive, but I still skip it. Joint Offense causes your allies' hit chance and critical hit chance to get an increase equal to your intelligence bonus. Active Terror is triggered when you kill an enemy with an intimidation attack and causes all enemies in the area of effect to receive a percentage penalty to damage equal to your intelligence bonus. At level 4, you will get your Heroic Act and Desperate Measure. Your Heroic Act is called Dismantling Attack, and it allows you to immediately inflict 1 stack of clue on all enemies. You also make a free attack against 1 enemy that always hits and imposes a penalty of 30% on that character's dodge and armor. Unlike the other Heroic Acts that we have reviewed, this is not a room clearer at all, but against a difficult boss it can still be a lifesaver. The Desperate Measure version of this ability will do the same thing, but also cause all of your attacks to cost 1 AP more until the end of combat. This actually isn't a big deal if your Adept is more of a buffer and debuffer, but otherwise it can be very impactful. Adept will provide you with 2 opportunities to upgrade your Heroic Act, and you will choose from a list of 4 options. The first upgrade freezes the target for 1 round and reduces their movement points by 3. Some of the boss enemies love to move around the map, so this can be very useful in the right situation. The second upgrade imposes a penalty of 30 on an enemy's weapon skill and ballistic skill until the end of combat, a fantastic option to use if a boss is ripping your party apart. The third upgrade causes the attack to intimidate enemies within a 5 square radius, reducing their dodge and armor by 15% until the end of combat, another fantastic debilitating option. Finally, you can also cause an enemy to provoke an attack of opportunity anytime it attacks. If you have a melee-centric party, this could be a great way to stack damage onto a tough enemy. That completes my walkthrough of the Adept career mechanics. Please let me know down in the comments if there's any other content for this game you are looking for. Hope all of you enjoyed this video. Take care!